All right, Shalom. This is your brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. And with that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. And peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in true sincerity. And we're going to jump right into the scripture. This is Shalak. This is Proverbs 4 and Proverbs. Well, start at Proverbs 3 and 31. And this is a scripture that we always bring out because it speaks about separation. It speaks about uh, uh, putting out the old man. It speaks about being born again. You know, it speaks about separating yourself and being holy. And these are all things that you have to undertake and you have to put upon yourself when you come into the truth. You got to put away certain things and in some cases, certain people. And it's not always a pleasant situation. But let's get Proverbs 3 and 31. It says, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. So the oppressor is what, man? Let's get this definition right here. Well, there's two of them. Let's see what it says. It says, man, human being, person, servant. So it can be an individual that walks contrary to the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, violence, wrong, cruelty, and justice. So envy thou not the oppressor, choose none of his ways. So you have to go. So you might have to separate yourself from certain people in your life, man. You know, you might have to separate yourself from certain individuals and refrain from certain practices because they're contrary to your new life in His truth. And the Lord will reveal those people unto you, man. And the Lord's going to be the one that does the separating, because you got to understand that He controls all things. All your steps are ordered by the Lord. So there's going to be people that He separates you from in order to you to be a holy vessel to do His work. And then that's the reason for the separation. You got to understand that, man. So it says, envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. So their ways are going to be contrary to your ways, so therefore you have to be separated from that. Let's get Proverbs 4 and 14. It says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their teeth is taken away unless they cause them to fall. So there's going to be certain situations and things that you have to separate yourself from, man. So this truth is in most part it's about separation. The elder Gabar, he said in a video a long time ago that I remember that the life and the truth is a solitary one, and I think that's where that word soldier comes from too. It goes into being solitary. So part of that solitary, that solitude, part of that soldier mentality is a separation of you from the people around you. Because most of the time, brothers is just we by ourselves, man. And then we link up with other brothers during the week for videos and go on the highway. Here's most time we keep to ourselves, man. And that goes into the Psalms, the first chapter, talking about the blessed man. The blessed man was described as a man that separates himself. Let's get Psalms 1 and 1. It says, blessed is a man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. So he's going to have a full separation of certain individuals that are contrary to his life and the truth. And that could be up. That's the Lord's doing, man. Who He separates from you. For some it could be a woman. Some it could be a family member. Now we know the scriptures say that if a man has an unbelieving wife, but that woman is pleased to dwell with him, then it doesn't matter what she believes, as long as she acts, as long as she keeps herself in a reasonable standard, which is hard for these women to do nowadays. But it could be a separation from different types of individuals. But the point of the Psalms 1 and 1 is that the man of the Lord is going to be separate from the ways of the wicked or the ways of the world. The scriptures talk about you can't love God and mammon. Let's go ahead and get that. It says Matthew 6:24. It says, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahweh and mammon." To that means that you can't try to do things that are pleasing to yourself in the world, but yet try pleasing to the Most High. And that's gonna be your cause of depression, because you're gonna be sad of the things that you had to let go in order to serve the Most High, because your foot is still in the world. You know, that's one of the major causes of depression. You can't serve two masters. You can't love two, and you can't love two masters. The scriptures talk about giving yourself fully, heart, soul, and mind to the Most High. And sometimes that's a difficult decision for people to make. And when they realize that they can't do it both ways, they'll fall out the truth. And that's something that you got to be very wary about, man. It says in Matthew 6:24, it says, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon." And if you try to serve two masters, like I said, that's going to cause grief. That's going to cause depression. That's going to cause ungratefulness. That's gonna cause all kinds of negative things to pop up in your life. That's why the scriptures constantly talk about self-examination. Once in a while you gotta sit yourself down and take a total or tally of all the things that are going on in your life and all the things that you're holding on to that you have to let go. The scripture talking about putting away childish things. Just go ahead and get that. And the things that you're required to let go are most of the time things that are not benefit unto you. They're childish things. That's 1 Corinthians 13:11. It says, "When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things." So, in order for you to grow in this truth, because we all start out as babes, and we are still babes, but the process of growing in this truth is putting away, comes with putting away certain things. So I'm going to run that back again and say, "When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child." You had a very simple mentality towards life. And as you learn this truth, that mentality and that way of thinking becomes more and more complicated to the point of vexation. Because that's part of the lot in the truth, man, to be vexed. It's very uncomfortable and it doesn't feel good, and at times it can be very painful. But that's part of the growing process. You got to understand that. It says, "When I was a child, I spake as a child, still a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man," when he fully matured, "I put away childish things." So that's one of the requirements of the truth, man. The putting away of childish things. Now, it doesn't have a definition for the word childish, but we're gonna go ahead and get it in the see if it's in the 1828. This is the definition for the word childish in the Webster's 1828 dictionary. It says, "Belonging to a child, trifling, puerile. When he became man, and put away childish things, pertaining to child, the childish years or age, childish sports, pertaining to children, ignorant, silly, weak, as childish fears." See, ignorant, silly, and weak. So you got to put away ignorant, silly, and weak things, man, in order to have a maturity in this truth, man. So that's one of the key things of growth, of being this truth: growth and separation. Growth and separation are essential parts of maturing in this truth. Verse 12, "For now we see through a glass darkly." Let's get these little definitions. a mirror darkly, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as I am. Now by His face, hope, charity, these dreams, but the greatest deeds of charity. And that's charity goes into what? Love. So to grow in love, to grow in obedience. And to grow in obedience is to mature and put away and separate yourself from certain things. So that's part of the walk in this truth, man. Let's go back to Psalms, the first chapter. It says, "Blessed the man that walketh not the counsel of godly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But the light is in the law of the Lord, and law does he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in season. His leaf shall not wither, and whatsoever he do it shall prosper." So in maturing, in maturing in this truth, and growing in this truth, and putting away certain things, and separating yourself from certain acts and practices and individuals, that's going to open up another door of blessings to you, another door of spiritual growth. And growth doesn't come without pain. You got to realize that growth doesn't come without pain, man. So you gotta fully understand that what you're gotten yourself into. What we got ourselves into is a very austere way of living, and it's not something that can be understood by the mass majority of people, and it's not something that's for the majority of people. It's only for individuals that have a certain spirit upon them to do those things, man. These are just a few scriptures that I was meditating upon. I don't want to make the lesson too long. The point of it, that part of growing and maturing is truth. You're going to be things, people, and places and practices that you're going to separate yourself from. And that's part of being austere. That's part of being a soldier. That's part of being solitary. And that's part of growing, man. So with that being said, man, it's a real quick lesson. Most I would and hope was edifying. I said I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Kahala Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Brothers keep on pushing. Shalom.